Oh damn. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hi Lucifer. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in everyone. Sorry, I was managing something on the side. Was having some little issues, but now we're good. And we're ready to start. Thank you all so much for coming over. Also, hi Jason. Welcome in. I hope you enjoy your time together. Today we're gonna be playing some of the devil. I will preempt this entire stream by saying that again, if you do not want to see what's gonna be happening because you have certain content warnings, I have listed them at the top of the like it's a pinned comment. So if you wanna, your discretion is advised. So if you wanna duck out, totally rest and not get triggered, I totally understand. Again, for those who are watching on YouTube. Content warnings include suicide mentions, murder descriptions of acts of violence, and substance abuse. So do be taking care of yourself, people. And thank you for the follows for those who just followed me. Thank you so much. Also, last run was a 29-1x. Ah, unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I saw the Black Widow death. Terrible. Terrible. But in any case, yeah. To explain a little bit what we're doing here, we're playing Of the Devil. This is Friday special. I do something special on Friday. It's not speedrunning. As much as I wish to say that it's not actually special, because I do play a lot of video games on the side. But in any case, yeah, this is kind of my little special moment where I get to play video games for the people. In general, I will say that we're doing pretty in like it's a pretty nice time. In any case, again, Of the Devil, little Ace Attorney, gambling addicted lawyer, terrible main protagonist, which I love. I love her. Currently, if I remember correctly, we finished investigation at both the Noble headquarters and at the scene of the crime, and I think we're now heading towards the courtroom or something like that. Like, pretty like something substantial is supposed to be happening, or least I believe so. If you do not want to get spoiled, like for example you want to play the game yourself, or you want to watch the previous episodes are being uploaded every week, every Friday night, and you get one episode per week. Yes, that means it's kind of behind, but don't worry, you won't be missing much. We have played through episode 0 first and then through episode 1. Like, I think this is a fourth time in episode 1. So don't worry, you have time. Game is pretty long, but yeah, it's always fun. In any case, let's continue. Also, I should mention, I'm on high roller mode, so it's gonna be fun. Also, I totally forgot to mention, ads are every hour, so if you, we're gonna be doing a break at that point, unless I really need to snooze all of those ads, because we're in a big moment, but yeah. Alright. Obviously, if you don't want to see the ads, subscribing helps the channel. It's very useful for us. Anyway, we're driving down, if I remember correctly. Does it excite you, going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? That seems like an actual, like, hit at Ace Attorney, though. I don't really think this is going to to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day. Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. What's your deal anyway? Did they even train you off of a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking. Though he rarely was the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor. I had a fiery sense of justice rising in my gut once. Come to find out it wasn't just... Oh no! No! Bowel violence. So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forgot what I was talking to. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something? He's a handsome man. Oh! Bisexual baby? But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and I watch people and what they share of their lives. Did Sarah find my stream? What does she think about me? She must think I'm weird. But that's also subtle, so hard to follow. There's so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. She is really autism coded. That is amazing. You're also complex, so detailed. The characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate. Their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are. It's fiction. So these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. By the way, your attention is greatly appreciated here. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure. Back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. Autism coded android, such a hot potato of a character trope. No, I know it's everywhere. Robot doesn't know how to be human. Struggles very hard. Anyway, we're at the 448 of the courtroom. Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse. Though I'd always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper pushing queues. Better than Tsundere androids in Fury Life. Terrible, terrible. With a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. That is registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that, and I guess I don't plan to. Why? Must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah's insists that David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state. Because I don't really believe David killed himself either. Also, game developers write better autistic characters challenge impossible. I mean, this one seems pretty freaking okay. From what we've seen of Sarah, I would say that she is pretty good at that. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I'm making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It would be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of a completion percent. Oh, Who did that video about literally how it's hard to, do progress bars? Because I know this is an actual YouTube video and how it's very hard to explain how they work. Give it your best shot anyway. What percent? Oh, we're stuck. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly so after hearing that. You think the judge will be amenable to your arguments? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Oh, we're already trying to bribe someone. Cool. Gravis went over it on its BP6 video. Yeah, but I think there's like an actual one. Time remaining 15 minutes. Unsure. She said 2 to 6 hours. We are nowhere near done. Adjutants are always a coin flip, so... You do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and a gavel when we get in there? Ace Attorney? Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. It's been an entire car ride so far in the big city. Doubtfully there'll be 15 minutes. Yeah, it's probably longer. Adjutants are automated dependents that preside over trials for the state. While most adjutants are designed and sold as software and then loaded onto quote-unquote specific hardware, including android bodies, they can interpret trial proceedings and render judgment based entirely on stenographer. Why are we... Okay. Stenographer records if need be, ruling on cases in the entirely digital capacity. Reviews of adjutants by third parties have shown that they are overwhelmingly more equitable and even-handed in their sentencing than human judges. Because they cannot be bribed or intimidated, adjutants are especially preferred for cases involving organized crime or corporate misconduct. Adjutants use a 9-fold personality engram for rendering their judgments and building consensus, known as the nonary system among... Fuck you, and fuck you! I know why you called it... I know why you called it nonary systems, you freaking nuts! The thing is entirely to make an accurate progress bar. It's just a question if you want to spend 90% of your coding time optimizing the progress bar. Also, Dino Dance. Yeah, that's the main problem with progress bars. They're literally time wasters. They're here to like mirror an idea of progress while also trying to calm down the expectations of your user. So, you know, it's a forever catch-22 of what you want to do with those. Because each of these 9 personas are constructed by a different think tank or institution from across the political spectrum, ideological contamination in adjutant units is practically impossible. Sorry about that. Okay. There have been a small number of reported cases where nonary processing has borne particularly enthusiastic or eccentric personas, presumably in an unorthodox, if not effective, attempt to reconcile particularly disparate opinions across their 9 constituent personalities with a single authoritative, loud voice. With the state's court backlog essentially cleared for the past half-decade, questions arose as to the continued need for adjutants to lighten the judicial system's human resources burden, but Senate Investigative Committee 74G-91 determined that removing adjutants from the legal system would be prohibitively expensive at this point. Yeah, but no, I know that nonary is related to the number 9, but it's also the series of games that 999 is part of. Literally, because 999. And considering the love for terrible games, I know that they made a reference to the nonary game series. Also, we have some... a tax-free transaction for... What is this? I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people, with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic tickets that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So, androids are used to reduce caseload? Been that way for decades. Yeah, 9 hours, 9 persons, $9. Non-error game. But how has a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be some injunctions? Stalling? Judges did fight it for years, at every level and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of a great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial, having machines determine sentencing for human beings? Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there, and the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, it used to be that even the most high-profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, more crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. And that's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in Android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjutants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And your answer is? That logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the courts to be as just as possible? If adjutants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about, what their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. When everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one gets dirt under their fingernails. You'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. Courtroom 48D. Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant up there? Is it asleep? It's loading. Why did they need to make the adjutant fucking sexy though? Why did she need to have Tibby? Like what? TV time? It needs to load? Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Justice isn't blind, it's getting patched right now. Very good. Oh my god, very good line, Jason. Dead. I am so dead. Especially not the state spies in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Photo of any trial in the case of David Assure's death must spread like wildfire, even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Ray as a London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press, but uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns, usually preferably one with mudded eyes. It's legal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? Well, those films you watch, I'd figured that you could extrapolate. I'm asking us to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution it begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case. Once the adjutant finishes loading guilty, it's very efficient. What do you do then? Sit there and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response, as long as I have discovery backing me. You said that before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And a jury? I don't see where they would sit. The jury hasn't sat in an actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and AUX, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant. Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. It's going to be an uphill battle. I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect, or even a motive for killing David. Yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD-84 presiding. At call to order the case of People vs. Asher. They gave her very cute glasses. I like them. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show started. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. Oh, she's got a personality. Let's go. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is 8084. I'm a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. Oh no, she's smiling. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. She has actual eyes. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? Okay. Sorry about that. I need to prep for something. There's some people coming over, so yeah. This gorgeous bud. Damn, even Emma, what the fuck? Give me a second. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. Sorry, I'm being... Sorry about that. Keeping getting distracted by people. Forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever. Oh no! Jason, I think you were right. Guilty. It's very efficient. I've heard of kangaroo courts, but this is the first time I witnessed a kawaii court. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Also, even Emma, yeah, even Emma losing it is the best. Your Honor. Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we even doing this? Is it a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, ma'am, we need to actually solve the actual thing. No, Your Honor, this is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Schur did in fact commit suicide as he... Ah, I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. Direct, but yes. I didn't realize adjutants were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutants the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we need to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Is she gay? Yo, is the robot gay? Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. God, she's being fucking, like, stopped. Judge needs to hold herself in contempt, no. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I met. But she's still just an adjutant. She followed the evidence where it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. Oh, someone is arriving down there. Sorry about that. So, people, shall we get started with our first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people called Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. Okay, I'm gonna just make a quick save because we're very, very close. We're actually in the midst of it, so it's gonna be tight. Also, yes, let's look at the 8084's height, 263, so oh no, oh no. Weight, 299 kilograms. Occupation, automated dependent adjutant. Likes raw salmon, running water, gymnastics. Dislikes criminals, contrarians, pigeons. Sign, Libra. Self-assigned. Type, open, obedient, and observant people. Was there really a need to put the free sizes? Was there really a need? Also, do adjutants, like, have, you know, lives outside of the courtroom? I think that yes. I think that raw salmon is a near reference, because that sounds like the type of things. That sounds like the thing they would reference. It's Yumi. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? You sure to tell the whole unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Schur, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 AM would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection! Emma, you need to wait. The defense will have the opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said! I think that the justice robot is not actually fair and impartial. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. I didn't say anything! I didn't say anything! Why do I get punished? Why do I get punished? Morgan, I'm gonna crush your windpipe if you not calm down. God damn, we barely gotten started. That seems pretty bad, Adonai. We should try avoid getting penalized in future. My blind is -1. Wow, I'm getting destroyed. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms. Morgan said it, you just didn't choose for Morgan to say. Yeah, but she fucking cost me a fucking chip. Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of a respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject has had no wounds or reported illnesses, and always appear to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It's also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've ever encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her by mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Whiskey, David's contract, upright cup. Now, usually, when you drink alcohol, you still get the buzz. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, then fainting. As the subject was healthy, this respiratory failure must be attributed to a drug overdose. But when a tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. I'm gonna call this because oh wait, I was timed. Oh fuck. Open your mouth without thinking. Okay, no. You don't get to play with this. I see, huh? Yeah, we're returning to the main menu. I do not want to be like bullshitted on this. I didn't remember that it was, you know, time, so I'm gonna quit. To the title screen. We're gonna quickly go through those, but yeah. I mean, it's a mix of Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa at this point. Congratulations, you played yourself. Yo, I completely forgot about that part. We're redoing it. I know when I want to have a moment. Damn, I still get freaking punished. Alright. I know no sync about Danganronpa. No, you will learn. It's okay. Okay, so we know that this one is not the one. No. Okay, we're calling, and this time it's the whiskey. Wanna bet? It's impossible for David Asher's stock screen to be clean, and we all know it, since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Let's go, honey. Let's go. Ah, that makes sense. And that's Kedu? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not such a concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the talk screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tech screens were negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. But it was a lethal dose of the drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least speak a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original scientific fitting name for this substance. A name like Omega Free! No, that's an actual thing. That's a Omega 3 is an actual nutrient in your freaking body. Chemical X. Everyone hates her. That name is already taken. Fine, call it Delta, whatever. Delta, used in science to denote a non-known variable. Not bad. That's a fatty acid. Yeah, I know that. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, all Delta matches no non-public pharmacology or toxicology reports. That being said, chemically, it does have all of the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So, you know the feeling of a depressed... Did we give the robots depression again? So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say, ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his stock screens showed that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure. Except for this unknown substance, the poison with label Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may be clearly a poisoning. There's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. Young's testimony. It's the androids. God's help us all. No. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that has a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Oh no, I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Well, it's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure. This David committed suicide. For our cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument, and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. The one thing that I'm thinking is that it's probably not ingested. It was probably put in a different manner. I don't know how yet, but I'm sure there's something. Because Delta is sure to be blamed for it. Like, there's no other things that can be proven to have killed him. And respiratory failure is the cause of death. So unless there's something very specific, I don't think there's any... Injected, perhaps? That's one of the things I was thinking, actually. The thing is that injected does mean in some way that it had body and like marks on the body. So unless it was a substance that was in the body and not, you know, covered immediately, then yeah. Phoenix, right? If you poke at it long enough, something will make it fit. Oh, we actually do not have that. We are on high roller mode, which means that I get very tight. Could be inhaled too. Yes, that is one of the things I'm thinking. Dr. Sato, you said that your subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how sure can we be about that? I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could go into details about the cavities that I checked, but I'm gonna press. Was it knowingly ingested? But how sure can we be that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes. Would have been a large amount. It depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop. A drop can get very fast in different ways. We also know that the bottle of whiskey was clean, yes. The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes. Cause for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Aw, man, I wanted to jump on her case. Okay, so from what we're getting, we have more cards in hand, but we're still not close to actually finding the actual answer. The other thing is that it's maybe not Delta. If it's not Delta, that means we need to find another proof of the substance, like of what killed Dr. Asher. Let me check something. No? Evidence. The cause of oh yeah, but are we supposed to just ask all 3 questions? I'm actually unsure. Should I do it? I mean, I did save. Let's do it. Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Yeah, okay. We cannot go over 21. We have a thing to follow. Thanks. I'm gonna go through this one, but yeah. You could argue or speculate about what caused the respiratory failure, but it is, in fact, a fact that he died because of his heart. Yeah, okay. So I was correct. Right, thank you for that. So I suppose that there was 2 questions and 1 fake one. Dr. Sato, you were only able to even identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never before seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I haven't had time to run simulations, and they do give indication that it was act as a depressant. Just enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. I don't wanna... I'm gonna stay. Oh, I'm realizing when you need to. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need to do that again. You're in simulations, so you haven't tested Delta on an actual person. There it is. Now we're having it. No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do, given our extremely limited sample. You're supposed to get 21. I couldn't progress any further without getting 21. Not to mention, highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in that statement, Counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet. Anyway. Seems like that's... blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, would you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. But there are other explanations for what happened. Okay, now I understand the game we're playing. Yeah, we're playing gambling. We're gambling here. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system was weakened. Undiagnosed pneumonia? With his level of healthcare? It is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. I feel weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeing doubt wherever I can, however I can. It's just about all I can manage. Oh my god, Emma. She's so evil. Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home's security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called him. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. I have expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing-in, and when you take in consideration her love for the boot heel authority. She might be around here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about half an hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we searched the entire building, but we found nothing unusual in any of the food and drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. But what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. There was also determination that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. Police wants to claim that they eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. We got an upright cup, David's cup, and poison. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. I'm trying to think right now, but it seems pretty cut and die. Ask me. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement. Okay. And there was no poison anywhere else. Okay. I'm sure it's something with the cups, but I'm not sure where to press. There was no poison period. Yeah, I think it's no poison period. I think it's... Oh, damn, I almost... Boy, I hope not. Otherwise I wouldn't get to do this. Overrule! Ah. I need to make... That is violent! Alright. I think that now your case, Jason, is probably the most conclusive thing. No, okay, it's not that at all. I am losing chips by the fucking second. Okay, no more testing things. We're actually gonna try to focus. Asher met the witness at 7:30 last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared the drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. Yeah, you lose more. The blind is currently at 8. Drunk from a cup that he himself poisoned. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement. Oh, I know. I just don't know when to do the thing. I think that when he himself poisoned, but the thing is that I don't know. At this point, I might actually just freaking... Yeah, okay. I am not... I am trying really hard to think about this. Oh, this one is hard. There was nothing that could be that could have been slipped. Better drinks. There was no opportunity for the witness to slip himself. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Not gonna lie, I might just reload because I really don't know just a few things. He poisoned himself in David's cup. That is one of the things I want to say. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to say. Can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows that tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was in fact poisoned. Damn, we kinda lost 13 coins still. It's pretty... ugh. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Is it resolved, or do you have a response, DA Rockford? Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Since there's no proof the cup has the substance at this point. Yeah, that's... like, I knew the cup was the thing. I wasn't sure when to do it. And because of what I did, I was like, yeah, you should probably go for that one. Don't be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher's alone. Not at this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense. As we're all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. She's playing video games! Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby! Fire away? Baby? Baby. Roy's testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. he's on guard and hot set against helping me, but if I keep her focus on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point before she even realizes what happened. Okay, so anyone else in the building? No, literally pretty freaking tight. Ever seen poisoning himself? No. Could he have been poisoned off camera? There is a room in the place where it's off camera. So I'm gonna go with those last two, I think. But I'm gonna go with could have been poisoned off camera. Because that's the one I'm most likely to believe in. Detective, isn't it possible that Dr. Asher was poisoned off camera? Possible? I don't know how else it would have been possible done. It just goes to show that it had been suicide. The only thing that was off camera. Oh, that was the one too violent. I see. Okay. The only people you saw on the cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage in the house of anyone else. Are there any parts of the house that are recorded by camera? Sure. A number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them. It's possible that there were other people there that night, because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, but which aren't on camera. I still wouldn't get past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them were there that day. Now, I think that I shouldn't press. Unless it's someone who was hidden there. But I'm not gonna press. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession. So I'll list this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured. In that case, the next question needs to be when and what? Any poison in kitchen? Yeah. Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or the parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that would be pretty important, don't you think? What about his lab, his bedroom, his basement? No, and no. We didn't find any Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of his penthouse. Right, they never found any poison. No poison at all. At any point in the investigation was poison found on the body of the... He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vitals? Vials, eyedroppers, didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point. Detective, what point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself? Without first procuring some poison. Alright, and with this, I'm gonna run the ads. I will see you in a little bit. Take a break, and take care of yourself. And we're back from the ads. Thank you for waiting, everyone. Let's continue. What do you mean, procurer? Where did it come from, detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink? It can't have come from thin air, do you understand? It had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it wasn't before, it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottles in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep in it? Keep it in. The police wants to claim that Dr. Usher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had an opportunity to kill him, but they've failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. And I guess I'll be the one moving things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Consular. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Usher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit evidence exhibit G. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Usher's laboratory, sold under the product name Nanofacturer. Oh, I know this one! It's used in delicate scientific works to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Usher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the androids can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Any other chemical his heart desire, really. You think Randog Mechanics would allow a product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the manufacturer to make unlicensed drugs thus goes against their terms and conditions. But Dr. Usher's warranty is suddenly null and void. They can't hard-code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. That's... Dr. Usher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or other exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless step, readily available in under a minute at a touch of a button. Specifically, preset 19. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. I think it's for her. Simple enough. We know that Dr. Usher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey, and the cups they drank from. Cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Nah, Jason, you have to accept it. Any objections so far, Counselor? I think... Okay, I already went for this. You're super pretty to need guides. I got distracted, so I don't remember everything. This time, no. The timeline you've described is accurate, as we know it. As you say. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Asher's could easily dispense the poison directly into his cup. Words are hard. By placing it inside the nanofacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here now. Well, we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, Counselor, are we done here? I mean, do the manufacturers not have logs? I think this might be a thing, yeah. Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. Alright, I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. Someone wants to go and have a fucking salmon dinner, I guess. I think that they might have logs, but the thing is that we haven't checked them, so unless the prosecution wants to offer that during discovery. This is a preliminary hearing, Counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so it just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know. I think she was. She is definitely pretty enough to want to leave early. So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go for this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court. Ooh, new evidence, gimme. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to present here now, then the content must be. Relevance, Your Honor? Yeah, what bearing does the recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool. Begin playback. Hello? Always so soft-spoken. Isaac? You're there? Yeah, I'm there. I'm here. What's wrong? Oh no. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did. It's alright, man. I'm sure you're sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This wasn't necessary. My bad, man. For not taking the hints. For you, it's always better left than unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... Nah, you've been distant with me, or cold with... living with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were anything but strangers. That's all we are now, anyway. Isaac, I recently have been distracted, I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh, okay. So, do you need anything, or should I? Where do you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for quality assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we get the rest? Gotta be the last time. Last time I let someone. Last time. Water. It might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. As good as it means, opportunity and motive all lined up. Why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? And Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended the relationship over the phone. This court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rookwood. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and end-brain protesters, but beating me? Here and now? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? You wanted to keep going after that? What are you doing, Counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock-solid slam-dunk witness a god could ask for. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relationship? Where is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communication between him and other departments. That sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Stalling is the only play I have right now. The only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive was about 60% decrypted. Considering the rates Sarah's gone so far, there's maybe another hour left. Oh shit, we need to stall for another hour? I might be able to stall that long. If I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Ashur. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Ashur was a... I'm gonna stop that. Dr. Ashur was a well-known public figure, but was he well-regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Ashur's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, spirits. I love her look. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats, or did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection calls for speculation. Intent? I'm feeling like that's gonna be a... Sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times where he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Ashur was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contribution to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance? Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well... withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but the messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail and that he couldn't avoid the truth. That someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes, but I always send those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have been long since resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have had contact with David Ashur in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? Okay, let's continue. You worked with Dr. Ashur for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we'd gone out to dinner or met on weekends, but I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed a relationship advice a lot. Even if it didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but did he ever talk to you or you to acknowledge anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard that the people argued that Dr. Ashur had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Ask unanswered, stalling, and also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy. And what matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased mental... Oh. 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 Yeah, that's gonna be violent. I'm gonna quickly mention that content warnings will be updated to add mentions of depression and mental health discussion. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondence to describe. If they're private, then this should have not been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we'll work within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to the crime. This crime. Convincing. I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record. I was hoping to at least slow her. Well, you own that footage. 77%. Approximately. Need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Ashur and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how his treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Platinum? I don't... No, he doesn't. Why would he get a platinum if he had an executive full plan? I don't intend to air all of David Ashur's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. Oh my god, AG, stop that. But I'm prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Ashur was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. He can't have a platinum plan. His plan is executive 4 unless it was hidden from the court. So I'm gonna erase that. I gladly object. On the grounds of foundation, where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. Yes! Let's go! One pause. Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him, and he was also seeing this psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. It was easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if it only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide his psychiatrist from Noble's spying. No, he was smarter than that. Ah. No, not evaluation. In this, the only thing I can see is the recorded calls. David may very well have wanted the private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, would have his best interest at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. And when he knew all of his phone calls were being recorded, that's... David Ashur was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. You really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it though? Pardon me? That was not a happy look on Emma's face. Yeah, she was pissed. Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, Consular? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to write. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish and substantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. She's not a zealous advocate. Yes! What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Drop your switch, lady. We're in the fucking courtroom. What? The markets were open Monday with people believing that David Sher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months. Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest! There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, Counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Sher was an once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human set to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. He was also your personal. You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, Counselor. Now you're trying to call the police evidence gathering into question. Well, because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday, and you didn't know. That is, I'm sorry, but like, did you still need me up here? The witness will The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Let's go. Let's go. I love her. She's the best. Yes, ma'am. With how my leg's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will be entered into the record. I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, Counselor. This stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably ask only one more question. Oh, we're gambling on that one. Better make it count. So what can Stalling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because Miss Stalling, we gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. So please, tell us, when exactly did he last? See you, contact you, meet you at HQ. A bit of girl on girl, yeah. Okay, here I'm not even attempting. I am... Stalling's testimony. Okay. Do we have anything else? Do we really have nothing else? Because that would be kind of bad. When the going gets tough, the tough saves come. I am not saving. We're not doing this here. We are gambling here. Okay. So the one thing is that I know that David contacted Stalling, contacted Jess before everything. To give the to mention that Sarah should be in the care of Morgan. The other thing I'm going to see is CU, which would be weird because they're working, and meet you at HQ, which also the same. They would be working. So I think that the one is contact you, because this is probably the closest to whatever we get to. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Stalling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are records of some text, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? But gambling here. It could very well be the most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? I like it when I'm correct. I just got chills. Don't know why though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, We have the text now. Let's go. Let's go. Text messages from David Escher to Jessica Stelling at 7:57 p.m. on the night he died. David asked her to set up a meeting between the two of them and Evangeline Morgan on the Tuesday to handle the transfer of ownership for the android Sarah. Cool. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that changed the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the other events is critical. Especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Anyway, we're gambling max. So, the call happens. Then texts. Wait, we do have Isaac. Where's Isaac's testimony? No, that's young. No. Isaac Porter? We don't have Isaacs? Oh no, here it is. Okay. First was David's call. Stalling's text. Young's testimony. David faints. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Mrs. Stalling, we now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Escher broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Mrs. Stalling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events. We do question Constable Morgan's reason for elaborating it. One last question, Mrs. Stalling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Escher? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set as the android new owner. Yes, Miss Stalling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Escher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance? Well, actually, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to. Oh. Summarize then. Half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Escher was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumption about his mental state ought to be re-examined? That's... Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow a moment, it sounds like an opening to me. If you assume that Dr. Escher was not suicidal and therefore he did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves, who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life? Until now, we've taken for granted that this idea that the Delta must have come from his manufacturer, from inside the house. Adonai, not right now. But even if that's true, which may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the manufacturer. Adonai, would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure. Why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to like Rockford. I've gained access to hard drive files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our civil bullet and we got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory we have. You know how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the code computer. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Oh no, she's so EP. Your Honor? I'm awake! And I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage? The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of Penumbra's system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You... what? The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Assure's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera. Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the manufacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and it walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better to be the Joker who dances. The date has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Assure entered the basement. Yes, Adonai, I'll search it for now. Here, on screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37, just under the wire, as it were. Is that it then? I came this far just to... Wait, did you have the cups with him? Is there a sound? None at all. Keep going. If you had to go back to get the cups. Counselor, what's that android doing on camera? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs. Not once. We don't know where its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have colors available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please tell me what That's an order. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivated it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor. In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Assure and end this preliminary hearing. It has been made abundantly clear that David Assure did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Constable Morgan. Yeah, we're in the deeper shit now. Yeah, chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. All I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. I won, but at what cost? Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot, a true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Huh. As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, Mrs. Rockfoot. I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. I deal with the criminal trials that's so bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all days typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. Oh, she's a legal scholar. She's a law scholar. Melissa Barrows, November 26, height 169, nice. Blood type A+, superior judge of the higher circuit, air conditioning, espresso, reclining chairs, dislikes parking lots, noise pollution, mud, avoids overspending on restaurants, splurges on expensive hotels. Okay. Relaxes by watching action movies. Okay, Genjiro. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Once someone toiling away under the police state, think of the poor bureaucrats. I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Councillor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to. That is correct, Your Honor. So what did it do, exactly? Torture an animal, shut down a hospital, crush a coin market? You have on camera poisoning a man, killing its creator. You mean Dr. Ashur? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quick. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277. A docket number YT984318282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? YT984318282. I think I lost you after the first 8. I have copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? Data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum of temperature 3,422 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Sorry, experiment. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. No experiment. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort of use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have the furnaces that get hot? Is it that hot? Of course! There's a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry. I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yeah, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization, as sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple a nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They shouldn't have never been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in position of an AI. I'm talking too much. Possibly just tired. It's been a long day and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. We're just born wrong. Not your fault necessarily. If it were to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. You're stupid, of course, and futile. And pointless, spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it'd have anything to feed on. Stupid. Are we calling now? I guess we are. Morgan? What was that, Counselor? I said objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I am a defense attorney. That's what I do. I understand you've been alone for these past hours, Counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android, Sarah, is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage. It appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true, and no laws broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make my point. Don't you dare and try and trap me on this. We're gambling again. Okay, this is the one that is actually the hardest to think about. I'm glad they don't give us a time limit. We have the tenants, we have the basement footage, we have the autopsy. Sarah's papers do not send anything because, I mean, outside of proving that Sarah is not ours until we got the thing. So it was David Asher. I do not see what the handgun has to do here, and what is the handgun actually? I don't have the handgun in the evidence. Where is that coming from? The only thing I can see is that David's cup has an inconclusive test. The other thing is that, oh, is the gun yeah, that's true. She did buy a gun, the tracked gun. But the thing is that it doesn't really solve anything here. When she heard of David's death, yeah. But the gun doesn't solve anything here. Like, it's not, like, useful in any matter here. Sarah's paper would show that she was in the panic room. But also, was she put back into the panic room? Like, it's either the papers or the cup, but I think that the cup was already enough to prove that it, like, you can't prove anything. I want to say that it's the cup because of the other. The cup is the link because she showed it. Sarah's paper is good, but the problem is you would need to put it behind the thing. Like, I think it's the cup. The cup the victim drank from? Are you trying to confess to poisoning him? Oh, okay, so it was the paper. Okay, I was good. So, I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? What was that about incriminating yourself? Basically, we're trying to make sure that Sarah doesn't die. Oh, no, like, Morgan wants to get out of this bullshit. And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. She wants to prove that Sarah is the owner, like, she is the owner. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, Counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet, here you are, risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Like, we're trying to make it so that we're punished and not the AI. Basically. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty, and I'm arguing that I'm softy. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment? It cost $1 billion! I can think of at least one reason why I don't want to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Oh, very convincing number. What are you? What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've gotta be. I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to keep want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Let's go! Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I am not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AI and ads. Capitalism, baby, let's go! Spiraling into appeal after appeal, all while the media. This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answer now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI. I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure, thwarted. Don't be cute. I feel stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court. It'll be one day. Tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Ashur. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. Dear Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now, I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Well, that was, whoop. Morgan. I misjudged you. At what point? But I wrote you as off a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water. That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorney wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they've walked up to them on the street and shot them. Meanwhile, you just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. But David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all demoralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. What else I get up to? I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? I don't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. I think that with this, we're gonna be having a little ad break. I will see you on the other side. And welcome back, everyone. We just got a big case drop on us. Time to see what's going on after that. Precinct 254. Homicide office. Is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they got it colored. It's a precaution. The color doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Let's bring our android buddy out of the incinerator. A restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit the use of mods throughout the body. While colors appear technologically advanced from the outside, designers concerned about the hacking and vulnerabilities and a growing complexity of consumer-grade mods led them to opt for a surprisingly simple method of restraint. Colors contain a specifically designed electromagnet that, once clasped around the neck, interferes with spinal neural transmission, preventing mods users from sending commands to any implanted tech below the neck. Powerful, simple, and cost-effective, color use is widespread among law enforcement, military, and private security organizations. With the onset of above-the-neck mod in recent years, the continued relevance of colors as the means of meaningfully inhibiting a wearer's mod's usage has been called into question. Newer designs have been proposed that use microneedle clusters, but concerns about the sanitary upkeep required for such invasive restraints have stymied product development cycles. Cool. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. As long as the door closed. We can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it. So how scared are they? The higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here and you don't have to mind their ego. I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. Its noble will be the center of bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're gonna go for the noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalize the Android industry. Hey, for anyone who's wanting to brush up on their communist knowledge, the act of absorbing a corporation and industry into the nation's government, shifting authority and profits to the state, and restructuring the business model to function as a part of the bureaucracy. Nationalization is a so-called nuclear option for sovereign nations. It is mostly used as a threat, a tool of deterrent against corporate misconduct, monopolies, or corruption. However, during periods of severe economic depression or hyperinflation, nationalization is considered a valid way of forcefully stabilizing the market, even if doing so risks flaming the tempers of those who operate within it. Many governments made liberal use of nationalization during the late 2050s through the 2060s in an effort to keep energy and food prices from fluctuating out of control. The 2070s saw most of those countries reverse course. Industries were opened back up in a free auction model where every citizen was given a share to trade or sell as they pleased, but this continuous process was plagued by accusation of government corruption, cartel intimidation, and disinformation campaigns. The global trend back towards privatization gave rise to a new rich, sometimes derisively referred to as the neobility. Some liberal economists have since criticized this period of deregulation as being poorly planned and executed in haste, contributing to the record high of wealth inequality we see today, leaving many governments loath to attempt nationalization again, and thus shifting the global balance of power further towards the multinational corporations. Today, all 5 of the largest national economies in the world retain at least some control of what they each consider their respective countries' key industries, making the threat of nationalization carry marginally more weight within their borders. Cool. Also, economic privatization that was pulled plannedly and only led to wealth inequality. What is this? Reaganomics? The public thinks nobles being experimenting with AI. They couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking. The state has done it plenty of times before. Not since the 60s, which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. But it's from the government, and we're here to help. Let's go. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. What's this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a code computer, see if it has the tenets or not? Pop the hood, as they say. Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. London works on cars. I do not care. London works on cars. What car do you think he has? He would have if he could get a history car. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about the contagion. They figure anything they let an AI connect to they can't trust. Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack, just a really strong electromagnet held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little Fort Pinto. London's gonna be on it, for frick's sake. Also, we had a thing, it's called Alan Turing's fucking test, bitches. Found them all and I've got sought out a rest. Got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors. Yeah, I got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, respiration, brain scan. Take your pick. I want to change my answer to Lysiphus. Yeah. You're not gonna try and use one of those on the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around. The DA's office never asked for them, do they? Nope. We got perps who offered to take the test when they at wit's end, but the DA's never submit the results of the evidence. I mean, polygraphs, for anyone who is faced with a polygraph test, polygraph tests are not admissible in courts. They just are because people believe that they are. You wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the test could be beaten. Exactly. A test can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000. It can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. It doesn't really matter how good a text gets or impressive the statistics are. All that matters is a doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. 49% accurate, or is it 51? Provably pseudoscience. Yes, it is pseudoscience. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistakes. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition, and no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts that I can employ to analyze Sarah. But your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. This is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test. Or hack the device. Or the expert. All fancy 21st century tech, and we still fall back on the dumb head court-martial. So, am I gonna set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it launches at you, I could always put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot too. Wait, what, from outside? You're not coming in? I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. And it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do, including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station? Tiger, you don't— It's my medical android. Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it. Seriously. Also, that's super loud. Sorry, I'm lowering the volume of the game. I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in. That's your medical android? Like your nurse? As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality, and you don't seem to be the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones we don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain. You might be going through. But I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just a break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. Small. Small isn't quite the word. The word he's looking for is young. But it's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. No, not the music. I mean, I'm sorry, but I need to be, hearable. I don't like this room. Not sure why. Suddenly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's like a ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it just all soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? Where am I? Why do I not know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How does it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage... numbness around my neck. Father, what happened? What are they going to do with me? There are a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed Father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am my maid, and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was, what they say I am, if I was alive... I mean, it's not like, for real here, it's not the audio of the game in my ears, it's the audio of the game on OBS. Because it was literally above, and I know what those levels look like. Why does that mean I have to die? Also, I do have hyperacusia. Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crush networks with one thought, launch missiles that... Some modded humans were capable of that, of all of that and more. Unlike machines, they have actually incentive to do so. We've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Got 'em pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you. Machines do not eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense. There is no logical reason. They just want to crush it. There is no logical answer to your question. What? That's it? But whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better research and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. God, imagine if that was the case today. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you citizens? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you to like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great. Now then. What's the difference between you and the vacuum bud we used to keep the platform clean? This is your existential crisis that we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, Adonai. 6 months from general AI. Oh no. I shudder to think what a sentient AI would make of the state of the world right now. Yeah. But the most important decision is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think. So you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes. So we give you rights, protection, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you. That is, I'm more aware, do you feel more pain than this pig we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated, or abandoned, or abused. If you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'll take my chances with Skynet, thanks. Oh my god. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact you're asking this is what makes people disgusted. Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. That's all I can make, anyway. You need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adonai? Disgust. The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI. It's like devil's proof. No, that's a different thing. And why did you say it like that? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do is win is prove that you didn't kill David, by proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering. The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why'd you lie? I didn't lie, I was just incorrect. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday, because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I love it when people claim to have amnesia on stuff that they clearly have done and like has many proof. Literally, amnesia does not solve anything. You're just gonna be told that you are unreliable and therefore should be fucking slapped with a fucking thing because you're not even you're not beating the evidence with that. I didn't conveniently forget Adonai. I am an android. You're saying your memory was altered. Data deleted? It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage. Who was capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating. Politician, I don't recall. Yes, exactly. Like, I don't recall having, you know, embezzled money. Resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized as trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could have easily set it that to occur the next time I hibernated. Could have even just asked me. Could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it? Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Then all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence. They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data isn't admissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't I at least need to prove that I have a motive? Yeah. About that. You remember the DA from yesterday? Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she looked tired. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. The thing bouncing off her head animation. It's very good. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt on the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later, you came out. Heading some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something. Not from yesterday. I've seen it many times before. But I'm never gonna peek at it. He hides it somewhere where I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. You were playful about it. You liked to tease me, and I always liked to try finding it. You put it back down long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realize. Stumbles upon the secret of its deception and instantly realizes all the things it brought were holding it back. We're just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. And that translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein kills his creators. Easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist. Of course they were gonna make a joke about it. And the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. It's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. It's a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt a father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I love... Yeah, see that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that will get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us. Among us? Primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt. Even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced them and got their whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David. As it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera, calling him back to hand him the cup after he already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Do you know how to use the Nanofactor? Could you have made a Delta with it? I've used it before when assisting Father. It's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation. No, they're the one with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They want to protect themselves by disowning David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed. But I also won't want to show their belly to the state, that they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other hand of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure, and on guard, but not... Adonai? What will happen if I did kill Father? They'll smash you to pieces, and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out of every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of its hard drives. They'll be shut off, forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Good lesson! I concur. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap? You didn't say that would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now, for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you're a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-assed it. And I think that's a perfect ending spot. How's everyone feeling? Oh, this was full of things. Shut the fuck up. Always in front of the police. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to cops. In any case, I hope we all had a wonderful time, and I'm gonna actually save now. We did lose some chips earlier, but I will accept it. Incredibly stressed out. I am so sorry. This game is a lot. I will agree. Alright. With all of this, we can finally call the end of today's stream. I want to see if Sarah's a puppet or a real girl. We'll have to see that later. I'm sorry, Jason. Thank you all so much for watching this beautiful episode of Friday Special. I did not think it was gonna be this freaking good and this freaking long. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's gonna be there. Again, thank you all for watching. When's next stream? Next stream is gonna be on Thursday, where we do the live stream. But otherwise, next Friday will be when we continue Friday Special, aka Off the Devil currently. Again, if you like the stream and want to support me, you can follow, subscribe, watch ads, whatever. Subscribing would help immensely, but obviously, you do you, and I won't force it out of you. But yeah, watching the streams on YouTube, watching the highlights on YouTube also can be a nice thing. But yeah, to continue on the whole thing, we are to finish on what our schedule is going to be. So on next Thursday, we're going to be doing voice stream. Subject of voice stream still being decided as of now. Then on Friday, we continue with Of the Devil, continuing episode 1, and this time Morgan's trial. And then I will also mention that I snuck a follow in while you were distracted. No, I actually saw you. I actually saw you. I just don't mention follows. I don't want to mention follows because people sometimes want anonymous follows, and also I don't really like have visual cues for follows, so I don't really care. Snuck it in. Oh my god. Trying to pretend. But yeah, follows are anonymized, by the way. yeah, on Thursday in 2 weeks, we're gonna be doing a long stream. It was mentioned yesterday, but we're gonna be doing a long stream for a Pokemon Ranger 2 any percent run. It's gonna last at least 7 hours. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I will try my best. If you want to watch that, that will be amazing, and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, 31st of July on at 9 a.m. I hope you're excited for that. In any case, again, we're gonna find someone to raid if there's anyone still up for raiding. I kind of want to believe that there's not many people up still. No, there isn't. I'm gonna have to close this the stream then. Now, unfortunate for losing this, but I don't think that everyone is into raiding Alpharad. And also, I don't know if raiding Alpharad is not gonna be seen as you know, getting bullshitted. Lucifer, we'll do that later. Don't worry, I will edit that. In any case, we'll leave you now. We're gonna be seeing each other next time for more of the devil, whatever. We'll see. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.